Topic 1. Ribosomes and protein synthesis. Audio lecture style explanation. Think of ribosomes as tiny protein factories inside the cell. The entire body depends on proteins to function. Proteins are used for enzymes, hormones, transport, cell repair, immune defense, muscle structure, membrane channels. Without ribosomes, cells cannot build proteins. DNA contains the instructions for making proteins, but ribosomes are the structures that actually assemble amino acids into proteins. The process works like this. 1. DNA in the nucleus contains the code 2. A copy of the code is made into mRNA during transcription 3. mRNA travels to the ribosome 4. The ribosome reads the mRNA codons 5. tRNA brings amino acid 6. The ribosome links amino acids together into a protein. If ribosomes stop functioning, proteins are not produced correctly. Enzymes decrease cell repair, decreases membrane proteins, decrease metabolism, slows, cells begin malfunctioning. Eventually, tissues and organs are affected because organs depend on functioning cells. Fast-growing tissues are usually affected first: digestive tract, skin, immune cells, muscle tissue. Cause-effect chain. Damaged ribosome, decreased protein synthesis, fewer enzymes, proteins, cell dysfunction, tissue dysfunction, organ dysfunction, loss of homeostasis. Important structure, function idea. Structure: ribosomes are made of rRNA and proteins designed to read mRNA and connect amino acids. Function: build proteins accurately. Consequence: if structure changes, protein production becomes incorrect or stops entirely. Topic 2. Osmosis, water balance, and dehydration. Audio lecture style explanation. Osmosis is the movement of water across a selectively permeable membrane. Water moves from high water concentration to low water concentration. Another way to think about it: water moves toward the area with more solutes. Cell membranes are selectively permeable, meaning water can move through, some substances cannot. This is important because cells must maintain water balance to survive. Dehydration. During dehydration, the body loses water, extracellular fluid becomes more concentrated outside the cell, becomes hypertonic. Because of osmosis, water leaves the cells. Cells shrink. This affects cell function because enzymes work poorly, chemical reactions, slow, membrane transport is disrupted, proteins may lose shape. Severe dehydration can affect muscles, nerves, blood pressure, brain function, kidneys. Important structure, function, relationship. Structure: cell membrane controls movement of water. Function: maintains stable internal conditions. Consequence: if water balance changes too much, cells cannot maintain homeostasis. Cause-effect chain. Water loss: extracellular fluid becomes hypertonic. Water leaves cells by osmosis. Cells shrink. Cell processes malfunction. Tissue organ dysfunction. Topic 3. Digestion, cellular respiration. This is probably your most important topic. Your professor literally warned you this will be a full short answer. Audio lecture style explanation. Digestion and cellular respiration are directly connected. Digestion provides the raw materials. Cellular respiration uses those materials to make ATP. Step 1. Digestion. Food contains large polymers: carbohydrates, proteins, lipids. These are too large to absorb. Digestive enzymes break them into monomers: carbohydrates, glucose, proteins, amino acids, lipids, fatty acids, and glycerol. This happens mainly in the small intestine. Step 2. Absorption. The monomers cross the intestinal lining and enter the bloodstream. Cells now have access to nutrients. Step 3. Cellular respiration. Cells mainly use glucose in mitochondria to produce ATP. ATP is the usable energy for cells. The basic relationship is food, digestion, absorption. Glucose enters cells. Mitochondria performs cellular respiration. ATP produced. Why this matters? Without digestion, nutrients cannot be absorbed. Without absorbed nutrients, cellular respiration decreases. Without cellular respiration, ATP production decreases. Without ATP, cells cannot maintain homeostasis. Structure, function, consequence. Structure: digestive organs and enzymes break down food. Function: provide absorbable monomers. Consequence: if digestion fails, ATP production decreases because cells lack fuel. Cause-effect chain. Poor digestion, fewer nutrients absorbed. less glucose available. Reduced cellular respiration, decreased ATP, impaired cell function, organ dysfunction. Topic 4. Mitochondrial disorders and metabolism. Audio lecture style explanation. Mitochondria are the main ATP-producing organelles. They perform cellular respiration. Cells need ATP constantly for active transport, protein synthesis, muscle contraction, nerve signaling, homeostasis. If mitochondria are damaged, ATP production decreases. This especially harms tissues that require large amounts of energy: brain, muscles, heart. These organs are heavily dependent on ATP. Symptoms often seen. Low ATP can cause fatigue, muscle weakness, neurological problems, organ dysfunction. Important biological reasoning. ATP powers almost every cellular process. Without enough ATP, ion pumps fail, membrane gradients fail, cells cannot maintain homeostasis, cells may die. Structure, function, relationship. Structure, mitochondria contain folded inner membranes for ATP production. Function, generate ATP efficiently. Consequence, if mitochondrial structure function is disrupted, energy production decreases. Cause-effect chain. Mitochondrial dysfunction. Decreased cellular respiration, decreased ATP, failure of energy requiring processes, tissue dysfunction, organ dysfunction. Topic 5. Lactose intolerance. This combines everything. Enzyme structure, function, digestion, absorption, ATP production. Simple diagram. Daytext x right arrow, atext plus atext, audio lecture style explanation. Lactase is an enzyme in the small intestine. Its job is to break lactose into glucose, galactose. These smaller monomers can then be absorbed into the bloodstream. Enzyme structure and function. An enzyme's function depends on its shape. The active site has a specific shape that matches the substrate. This is similar to a lock and key. If the active site changes shape, substrate binding decreases, enzyme activity decreases. What happens in lactose intolerance? If lactase has an altered active site, lactose cannot bind efficiently. Lactose is not broken down properly. Undigested lactose remains in the intestine. This causes bloating, gas, diarrhea. Because bacteria ferment the lactose and water is pulled into the intestine. Linked to ATP production. Normally, lactose, glucose, cellular respiration, ATP. If lactose is not digested, less glucose absorbed, less fuel for cellular respiration, reduced ATP production. Cause-effect chain. Altered lactase active site, reduced lactose binding, decreased lactose digestion, reduced glucose absorption, decreased cellular respiration, decreased ATP production. How to think during short answer questions. Your professor wants biological reasoning. Always ask yourself, 1. What structure is involved? 2. What is its normal function? 3. What happens if it stops working? 4. How does that affect cells? 5. How does that affect tissues, organs? 6. How does that affect homeostasis? That logic alone can answer most of these questions. Mini exam style example. Question. Explain how dehydration affects cell function. Strong answer. Dehydration causes extracellular fluid to become more concentrated, creating a hypertonic environment outside the cell. Water moves out of cells through osmosis across the selectively permeable membrane, causing cells to shrink. This disrupts enzyme activity, membrane transport, and normal cellular reactions. As cell function decreases, tissues and organs may also become impaired, reducing the body's ability to maintain homeostasis.